On the run, the team of the 90s has its world championship.
Left side, Swanson to first. The Braves are world champions.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Bean Eater Buzz. Jordan Hunt here again. Again, as always, you know me as Beans. On Twitter, you can find me at BeanEaterB. Pretty much at BeanEaterB all the way across social media platforms. But today we're going to be talking about an unfortunate series with the Washington Nationals. Before we do that, we're going to go over the Miami series that I missed because my nephew graduated high school this weekend. So Friday was graduation, Saturday was graduation party, and I did not have time to record another preview or recap. So we'll just do a quick recap of that. And then, we'll get into a couple things. The starting pitching has been outstanding for the Braves lately. The offense has been pretty Jekyll and Hyde. That series against the Marlins, they actually put up 8+ runs in 4 out of 5 games, if you count the previous game prior to the Marlins series. And then they ended up with 8+ runs 3 times in that series. And then this weekend was not good for the offense. It was pretty rough. So we'll go over that. But another thing that I'd really like to go over, I know that it's kind of a hot button topic right now, is Austin Riley. So we'll go over that real quick too. And we'll see where we can get with some of this stuff. So maybe I can get through to a couple people, maybe not. But that's okay. That's fine. I don't need to get through to you. You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. But we should be civil and kind. So let's at least try to do that. The Marlins series, let's just go over it real quick. First game, complete stinker. Nothing really of note happened. The most noteworthy things that came out of that game were J.R. Ritchie being optioned, and then Aaron Bummer getting his outright release by the organization. Hopefully he lands somewhere else. I really liked Aaron Bummer. This year, it was very clear that the shoulder had taken a big toll on his stuff. So hopefully that's something we're able to, hopefully that's something he's able to overcome. He can find him a new job somewhere else. And then, games 2, 3, and 4, again, the Braves score 8+ runs in each game. They win 8-4, 9-1, and then they scored 8 runs in the final game. I can't remember the score to that final game, but that's okay. Go over it a little bit. Michael Harris had a fantastic series. It was actually 9-3. So they scored 9 twice in that series. I apologize. I thought it was 8 runs in the final game, but it was 9-3. But Michael Harris had 3 home runs in that series. Fantastic series for Michael. Dubon had a good series. Mike Yastrzemski had a 3-hit game, had a double and a homer and a single. And finished a triple shy of the cycle in game 4. The starting pitching was just fantastic. Outside of J.R. Ritchie, who, as we just said, he got optioned. Outside of that, you got a decent start for Martin Perez, but it was one that'll be notable for his career because he did end up putting up a career high in strikeouts with 10, his first double-digit K game of his career. And then, he ends up going, I think he went 5 innings and 4 runs. I should have looked that up. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit unprepared tonight, so that's my apologies. He went 5 innings. The next day, Chris Sale, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 8 strikeouts. The next day is 6.1 innings pitched for Spencer Strider, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts. So good signs all the way around. The 3 runs that Strider gave up were all on solo homers, 2 of them to Kyle Stowers. And outside of that, he was fantastic that day. Fastball command is still a little bit touchy here and there, but the off-speed stuff is just phenomenal. The breaking pitches, the changeup is so good. I said this on Twitter the other day that Spencer Strider is back and he has more weapons than ever before. And I truly believe that. I think that Strider is going to get the fastball a little bit more zoned in as he goes along. You know, he's still just a few starts in, so give him some time and hopefully he'll figure some things out. Okay. Now to get into the not so fun series that had a fun start. That was not very fun. Friday night, the Braves pull off another comeback win, as they've done all season long. They win this game 5-4. They win it in the 11th inning on Chadwick Trump's second extra innings hit. Extra innings RBI or extra innings. His second extra inning RBI hit. There we go. Just fantastic moment for Chadwick Trump. He's a great dude. I've told this story on Twitter a few times. There was a time last year when the Braves were coming home down 0-7, when they were coming home from that just atrocious road trip through San Diego and LA. And Chadwick Trump, I guess, saw that I had been tweeting saying like, hey, like, let's give these guys a shot. Like, this is still a good team. And unfortunately, I was wrong about that. But Chadwick Trump saw me, you know, trying to hype the fellas up, I guess. And he personally reached out to me and offered to cover my tickets for opening day last year. So if you want to know what kind of guy Chadwick Trump is, there's a fun little story for you. But just a great dude. Just, you know, he said he came back to the organization because he loved being around this organization. He loved working with the pitchers that were in this organization. And, you know, he probably could have been on an MLB roster on opening day as a backup catcher, but he chose to come back to Atlanta and be the third, and honestly, what ended up being the 5th catching option for the Braves this year. And, you know, kudos to him. Couple great hits in that game. It was really fun. It really was. And, you know, the offense has been questionable. You know, that we had a couple guys in that series, in that game, have some big nights. Dubon and Riley both had 3 hits. And then, you know, outside of that, it was just like a hit here and a hit there. And then Trump came into the game late in the game. He ends up with 3 at-bats in like the final 3.5 innings or 4 innings or something. And, you know, ends up with the walk-off hit. But that was a fun game. The last 2 games were not fun by any means. The starting pitching was fun. Bryce Elder pitched the first game of the series. He gives up one home run to Curtis Mead. That's it. Outside of that, he was fantastic. He just continued what he's been doing all year long. And then in game 2, Grant Holmes, again, pretty good. He gives us, you know, like 5 innings. Yeah, he gives us 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 10 Ks. I mean, you can't be upset with that. All he gave up was solo home runs. That's it. It's hard to talk about because the offense, this Braves offense is a good offense. It's one of the best in the game. Right now, they are really struggling. And it's not just certain guys. It's nearly the entire team. There's a couple guys that are playing well. You've got Yaz, you've got Dom Smith has been playing well all year. Austin Riley, he's playing well. I'm sorry. I know people are frustrated with some of his at-bats with runners in scoring position. The truth is, this season, Austin Riley has been very good with runners in scoring position. I know that people don't want to believe that because they are, reacting in real time to what's going on during the game. I know that he had a couple bad at-bats again today with runners in scoring position. But unfortunately, it just doesn't reflect what's actually happening this season for Austin Riley with runners in scoring position. Because right now, and this was entering today, he's hitting 291 with runners in scoring position. 291. I mean, that's not bad. I would actually, well, it's probably not one of the best on the team just because guys like Mauricio Dubon and Matt Olson and even Ozzy Albies and Dom Smith have all been fantastic with runners in scoring position. But Austin Riley has a 928 OPS with runners in scoring position this season. Yes, there are some homers there that really, jack up his numbers in that situation. He's got 4 home runs with runners in scoring position. That's good though. That's not a bad thing. That's good. Yes, there's some all or nothing there. I totally get that people are concerned about that. I totally get it. I'm concerned about it a little bit too. There's a lot of strikeouts going on. A lot of strikeouts, not enough walks, not enough outside of those home runs. I get it. But those home runs do still count. And we can't just overlook them. He's been very good. Just in the last week and a half, he's had 2 3-run homers. Today, he had another 2 hits. He had a 3-hit game on Friday. He has 7 multi-hit games this month, in the month of May. No other Brave has 6. I'm sorry to say it because I love the guy. Matt Olson is really hurting this team right now. And I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's his elbow. Maybe there is actually an injury going on there. But he has been really hard to watch because the at-bats are not really competitive. It feels like he's behind a lot in the count. And when he does get a pitch, he misses it. And he just wasn't missing anything early in the season. So I don't know if he's just in a funk and he's trying to find his timing again, or if there's an actual injury to his elbow. I'm not going to speculate that there is, because we haven't seen him favored again. So in my personal belief, I believe that his timing is just off. But Matt Olson has been a really, really tough watch for about 2 weeks. And it would be really good for this team if Matt Olson would start getting some hits. Today he had a double. That was great. That was awesome. We really need to see Olson put 1 or 2 over the fence right now. No, we don't want to be an all or nothing offense. Matt Olson is not an all or nothing player, but he is a power hitting player. He is a home run threat. And that's what makes Matt Olson so special, is the fact that he does have the power that he has. And we really need to start seeing that again. So, Matteo, we're rooting for you, man. We always will be. But we need to see more. And if he is injured, I know the streak is important to him. I know it is. He can say that it doesn't really matter, but I know it's important to him. He needs to take care of himself so he can be there for his teammates. We have a fantastic backup first base option in Dominic Smith. Dominic Smith is a very good defensive first baseman. And obviously, as we all know, he can hit. So if Matt is injured, it's okay for him to say, hey, I need a little bit of time to get this elbow healed right. And I don't know, maybe he's hoping he can he can play through it and find his way back to being healthy. It doesn't usually work that way. When you're injured, you usually need rest to improve your health. So kudos to Matt Olson and his 700, 800, however many games he's played in a row. It's incredible. You also need to take care of yourself, please, Matt, because we have 4 more years of you, and we love you, and we want you to be awesome because you are awesome. Anyways, yeah. So the National Series, the last 2 games, not good. You know, we lose the second game 2-0. There's almost nothing to speak about on the offensive side. Game 3, we lose 2-1. Again, almost nothing to speak about on the offensive side. We can talk about the pitching in those games. You know, the starting pitching, again, was fantastic. In game 2, I apologize, it was Grant Holmes. Game 3, which was today, was Martin Perez again. He comes out. He gives us 5 1/3 or 5 2/3 of 1-run baseball. I mean, he's doing the one thing we need him to do, which is keep the Braves in games. We don't need him to come out. Excuse me. I apologize. We don't need him to come out and try to be Chris Sale. He's not going to be Chris Sale. That's fine. Today, he didn't really try to be Chris Sale. He only had 2 strikeouts. He goes 5 2/3 with 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 2 Ks. Lowers his ERA to 2.7. It's hard to knock anything on the pitching side because even though like Ronaldo Lopez gave up another run, he looked better. His stuff looked great today. Walt tried to squeeze another inning out of him. He did squeeze another inning out of him. Unfortunately, they ended up getting an insurance run that ended up making the difference in the game. So you can knock Lopez for that, or you can knock Weiss for that, whichever you want to do. But they were just trying to get through the game without using any of their big guns in a losing effort. It was a close game, sure. Had we put up 1 run earlier in the game and we were down 2-1 heading into the bottom of the 9th, we probably see Raisel Iglesias or maybe Robert Suarez in the top of that 9th inning. And then, you know, maybe we go into the bottom of the 9th just needing 1 run, but that's not what happened. It's unfortunate. But we're going to lose series. The Braves are a very, 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 very good team. No team has ever gone through the entire season without losing a series. No team does that. The Dodgers just a couple years ago, can't remember if it was last year or 2024, but it was one of their World Series seasons. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who were absolutely atrocious at the time, went into LA and swept them. So it's just part of baseball, unfortunately. So we just got to get through it. The Braves just played 13 straight games. They are going to need some rest anyways. Let those boys get some rest. Let them, you know, enjoy their day off. Don't think about baseball. Spend some time on the road. I can't even remember where we're going. Oh, Boston. Go do some cool stuff in Boston. There's plenty of cool stuff to do in Boston. Go, you know, I don't know, go see the Cheers place, whatever. Whatever you got to do to keep your mind off of baseball for that one day. I know Fenway Park is a cool place to be, but just don't even think about it. Don't go to the ball game. I don't know if there is a ball game tomorrow. I don't know. But just go do something cool in Boston that's not baseball related. They deserve it. They've had an incredible season. They're 36-18. Let's just breathe a little bit. I promise everything's going to be okay. This team is very, very good. The offense doesn't even need to be that great for them to have won this series. So let's just give them some time. I've told a few people this season. You got to be patient with this team at times. There's going to be times when they're going to struggle. Every team struggles, but they're very, very good. They know how to win. They know how to play winning baseball. Let's give them some time. Now, real quick, just like 2-3 minutes, let's preview the upcoming series. Game 1, the Braves are going to throw Spencer Strider. Okay, Spencer Strider versus Ranger Suarez. So a little bit of familiarity there. Ranger carves us up. So we'll see how that goes. I am not excited about facing Ranger. It's going to be tough. In fact, all of their starting pitching is going to be tough. We're getting Ranger, then early, and I believe Tolley. Game 3 has not been announced, but I believe Tolley lines up for it. But again, we're throwing Strider, Elder, and Sale. So it's not like they're going to have it easy either. Maybe not the best ballpark for Bryce Elder. He can be a fly ball pitcher at times. Chris Sale absolutely shoves at Fenway Park, so I'm not worried about him. Well, honestly, he shoves everywhere. So Strider, I'm excited to see how Strider builds off of the last outing in Miami. All of his stuff looked great. Even his fastball looked great. Problem with the fastball was he wasn't commanding it well enough. But he still ends up getting through, 6 innings, 3 runs, still a great outing, 9 strikeouts. Like, I'm excited to see what adjustments maybe he makes to try to command that fastball better. Yeah. So, again, it's just it kind of feels like a trap series to me because of the pitching that we're going to run into. Because any of those guys can go head to head with any of our guys any night, and they could put up zeros too. So let's take care of business. It's 3 lefties. That's a little bit concerning. The Braves have had a rough time with left-handed pitching like they did today, recently. And maybe that's because not having Baldwin hurts. Baldwin actually rakes against left-handed pitching, believe it or not. So we could really use somebody to step up against this left-handed pitching. And maybe this is the series where Austin Riley truly steps up and has and starts to show us some of that consistency that other people are looking for. Because I don't get me wrong. Again, I understand why there are people frustrated with Austin Riley. I just don't believe that he should be the guy that we're scapegoating right now, because even with all of his consistency issues and struggles, he's by far not the worst guy on the team right now. And maybe people are just upset about his contract and the fact that he's underperforming with the largest contract in team history. But he's not BJ Upton. So let's not knock him like that. Let's just give the guy a chance. We know he's notoriously a slow starter. We know that May and June are usually very good for him. May has been very solid for him. I wouldn't say that it's been a great month because his OPS is right around 800. But I definitely wouldn't say he's had a bad month. His OPS is around 800. So just give him some time, and trust me, if middle of June comes and he still has a 650 OPS or whatever, I'll be right there with you guys. I'll be right there saying, what the hell is wrong with Austin Riley? And what the hell is this going to be for this contract? But I believe in Austin Riley, and I'm hoping that he can prove many of us wrong, because I've even doubted him at times, for sure. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm going to hop off of here. I appreciate you guys listening as always. Let's get a series win in Boston. All right. Go Braves, guys.